to today's video. I know it's been a hot second since I've posted. Recently I've been focusing a lot on applying for new jobs, and if you have been applying in the past few months, I think it's safe to say it's not been the most fun process ever. There are a lot of qualified job applicants out there and not too many positions these days. However, I feel like I've hit a stride in being able to find positions and get interviews and prepare myself for those interviews. So wanted today to walk through a bit of my process on how I've been doing that. A bit about myself. I have a background in strategy consulting and have been looking for a lot of roles in consulting or strategy and ops in tech companies. I do have a couple case interviews later tonight, so I'll walk you through some of my preparation for those, as well as a little sneak peek of what those interviews are like. Yeah, I also have a new desk setup coming in, so super excited to get that set up. But first, it is a super warm day today, and usually it's not this warm in the winter, so I'm gonna take advantage of that and do a quick run outside, enjoy the views of Central Park, and get some vitamin D before starting off my day. Alright, so I'm back from my run and now it's time to set up my new desk space in my room. I typically work from home, so it's super important for me to have a really nice, dedicated workspace for myself. I like having a comfortable desk space that allows me to feel comfortable but also productive at the same time. Which brings me to something that I'm super excited to share today. This portion of the video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. Thank you so much for sponsoring this part of the video. What I have here is the new FlexiSpot E6 standing desk. I want to get this desk set up today so I have enough time to prep for interviews and get cozy for my casing interviews tonight. I hate being cramped up in a cafe or a coffee shop, working from a tiny little table surrounded by a bunch of people, so having this large countertop really allows me to let loose and be able to feel comfortable in the spaces that I'm working in. I also love that it has a bunch of standing desk presets. It's adjustable, but you can find a couple settings that you like for your workflow or day-to-day that you feel comfortable with. And you're able to use the desk in all sorts of ways, whether you're standing, sitting down, you can adjust it while you're standing or sitting. The desk is also extremely sturdy and powerful. It has a dual motor system and has a weight capacity of 355 pounds. I also like that it comes with cable management to help assist with a super clean look on your desk. But yeah, let's get this desk built and set up so we can get comfortable and productive for the day. Okay, so now to share a bit about my job hunting process, because I've been doing that for the past 4 months. I feel like there are 3 main things that I learned that would have been immensely helpful if I had known them 4 months ago. And for context, I'm applying for a lot of strategy consulting and tech roles, but I feel like this applies for a lot of different roles outside of those industries. I think the first mistake that I did was just mass applying to jobs. I sent out so many custom resumes and custom cover letters to all these companies and roles, and a lot of these companies don't even see it. They have this AI scanner that just like cuts your resume or application from the pool because there's so many applicants these days, and the hiring manager, the recruiter, doesn't even see your application at the end of the day. I used to get personally offended by all the rejections I would get from emails, but I think it's comforting to know that it's really just a numbers game and it's not about your competency or your achievements. Yeah, it would be nice to hear when I would actually be in interviews and the interviewer would tell me like, yeah, we just had to close the portal because there's just too many applicants. We don't have time to look at all of the different applications coming in. So it's really not about you, it's just about a numbers game and really timing about when things are open and they're not. I think the second thing I'd put a lot of emphasis on if I were to restart my job search process is focusing on building relationships and networking. I put together a bunch of stats for my job application process, and I actually applied to less jobs month over month but I was able to get more interviews month over month because I feel like I switched my priorities from sending in applications to trying to foster relationships with people, try to understand their perspectives and find alignment in their roles. It seems kind of intimidating at first to reach out to people and ask for help or to ask for their perspective or experience, but I found it just to be super casual and easy to ask, like, hey, you work at company ABC and you do role XYZ. I'd love to learn about what you do and how I could potentially see myself in that role. And most people are like willing to help and willing to take time out of their day to help you or just to chat about their experience. I think my third learning throughout this process was understanding that I actually bring value to those conversations and I'm not just mooshing off of them and trying to pine for a referral. I think people appreciate reflecting upon their experiences, learning about yours, and also being able to expand their networks as well. At the end of the day, they might also get a referral bonus for referring you too, so there's, monetary incentive involved as well. But yeah, overall I sent out about 150 apps. I got 19 interviews. I do have 2 more interviews later tonight. Both are for a consulting firm and are casing interviews. So I'm gonna go out for a bit and just review and prep and study up on my cases a bit before the interviews tonight. So today I'm headed to the Museum of Natural History to get some studying done before my casing interviews tonight. I actually love the Museum of Natural History. They have a wonderful library on the 3rd floor that is pristine, it's quiet, it's not too crowded, and best of all, they have these long tables that you can spread out your stuff and do your work on. I also think it's super amusing that you can just pop by your favorite exhibits in between studying or breaks between meetings. But yeah, today I'm just going to do some light review on some concepts in casing. I like to review some fundamentals on types of cases through YouTube, as well as practicing my mental math for case studies through this website that I use. I think generally though, it took me about 2 to 3 months to get super comfortable with casing. A lot of that involved a lot of live practice, which I feel like is the best form of getting reps for casing. I also watched a lot of YouTube videos about casing, as well as some common books that people buy to learn how to dissect a certain business case. These cases are super common in consulting interviews, and I've seen them in some like strategy and ops interviews as well. Alright, so I'm all set up for my consulting case interviews today. I have pieces of paper I like to doodle on during the case and my pencil. I think there are 2 main reasons why I want to do this today. One is that so you can see bits and pieces of it. I won't show all of it because of privacy reasons, of course, but I think it's helpful to understand what a case is like. And then second, I think it's really helpful for myself to watch the footage and see what improvements I can make in terms of my communication or even verbal and physical cues that I can improve on. So I have about 10 minutes left before I begin and just want to get settled in and take a couple deep breaths before I start. Is using software and IT tools that help streamline operational processes at healthcare systems. So are there any objectives, any other objectives I should be concerned about other than potential revenue and key strategy? Just to lay out some of my initial thoughts, I think there are a couple key areas that I would want to look into in order to determine the objectives of this case. First would be looking into details about company A or client. Second, learning a bit about our product. 3, learning about the United States competitors in the local market. 4, revenue considerations. And 5, any cost considerations. So we 100,000 people with 30% of them seeking treatment. So 0.3 multiplied by 100,000 would be 30,000. And
well, good luck.
Yeah,
and hopefully I'll see you around.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you. Have a good one. Alright, so finish up the case. I thought it went pretty well. I think the Both cases that I had were about market entry, so like a international company looking to enter in the US market. I thought the cases were pretty standard and they gave some pretty easy factors and numbers for me to work with. So yeah, overall I thought that went pretty well. Hopefully I will get a call back from them, but yeah, that's just like a bit of how the interview process goes in casing, and hope that was helpful.